Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we have a brand new MyFaction video, and this one is going to help you guys with some tips and tricks on how to better your MyFaction squad. This is the all-important tip that I'm going to give you. This is the very last tip, and it's the most important one. So today we got 7 enhancements or tips or tricks, whatever you want to call it, on how you guys can stack up these wins and get yourself up there in those MyFaction wars and get them 500 wins for that Undertaker card, or benefit yourself in Proving Grounds or your weekly towers, whatever game mode you are spending the most time in. Anyone that's been on my stream recently has seen that I am absolutely grinding Faction Wars. It's my favorite game mode at the moment, and I think it's the most enjoyable all round, as Proving Grounds doesn't seem to pay out too much until you get into the higher tiers of it, and I'm just impatient. Eventually I will jump into that, of course, until the Faction Wars reset, but I've got a fair few more wins to go until I get that Becky, the Randy, and the Undertaker card that I really want. So today I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how you can stack up these wins in any of these game modes and help you achieve those diamond cards that we all want. If you did see my most recent YouTube short, well, maybe not most recent, but my recent YouTube short, there was a easy MyFaction wins, and it was before the other videos had come out, like the certain DQ methods or enhancement methods. This was simply play as Becky Lynch, the evolution card you get given, and you simply push towards them, press square, X, circle, and you will damage their arm with a grapple move. When they're on the ground, you can arm target, limb targeting. You can walk up, press circle in their arm, and then square or X, and Becky will do a stomp or a move to their arm. Over time, because Becky has starting hot or going in hot, whatever the badge may be called, she already starts with momentum. Therefore, it's quite easy to lock in the disarmor on someone's arm that's orange and easily get a win. This method takes around 10 to 20 seconds depending on how good the AI is and if they do counter. However, it is an easy way to start out if you're just starting out with that Evolution Becky Lynch card. Tip number 2, and this is a very important tip that I cannot stress enough, and I say this a lot, I've said it on my stream all week: sandbag your deck. You can see on screen next to me right now what I'm using. This is not what I will use when I'm actually playing. I'll put on screen some footage of what I would actually use and what I'll get paired against here. I will use maybe my Ask a Ruby token market reward, and I'll be up against maybe a diamond. However, I'll throw in 3 bronzes and a silver, and they will also match that. This then leads into my next point, which you're gonna like. Tip number 3 is, in the match, when you load in against a sandbag deck, or even a good deck, if you are playing all your best cards and you still want to do that, they will still have a weakest card, regardless. Whether it's an 87 diamond Bianca Belair, or it's a 75 amethyst Natalia. It doesn't matter, they will have a weakest card. When you start the match, grapple your opponent and Irish whip your opponent into the corner. It does not matter who it is, their strongest will always start, and one of the AI controlled opponents will tag themselves in. Every single time, it doesn't matter who it is. You can technically repeat this step until you get who you want back into the ring, which means you can throw in the person with the least submission defense or the least stats so you can get an easier win and not have to verse the diamond every single time. It just enhances how quick the game is, instead of having to worry about doing all this damage to a diamond's body and then they reverse you once and they tag out. That can be a little frustrating. This can be used, of course, if that diamond card does tag out and you want it back in the ring, or if you want the Natalia bronze back in the ring and it tags out, you once again just keep whipping until eventually it'll tag in. Eventually this will happen. It may be a little bit time consuming, but it will happen, so you won't have to worry about then damaging their limbs. Number 4, now this is a big one, and I know it's gone around YouTube recently. It's been said a lot in my streams recently. Make sure, by the way, shameless plug, you check out the Twitch, twitch.tv/KingKitten. We have 30,000 followers over there. It's insane. Come join the party. It's a whole bunch of fun. But back to the tips. Tip number 4 is called DQs are a thing. Now, do with that information as you will. I'm not technically going to sit here and tell you to exploit that part of the game, because it does skip certain animations and it makes things a lot quicker. However, in my opinion, I feel like this is an exploit and it shouldn't be used, and it's not how the game was designed to be used. I feel like the game was designed for you to actually work on how to win by doing submissions or pins or whatever you can do, not by rolling out of the ring, picking up a weapon, and then getting the AI DQ'd. That feels a little cheesy to me, so we're going to skip over this step and hopefully not have to come back to this in any time soon. It's also important to mention, I have 260 wins of legit gameplay, of my methods. I've not done the DQ strat, and I will never do the DQ strat, and I will not flex that I've got 500 wins by doing the DQ strat. Just important to let you guys know that we are legit here. If I'm going to give you tips, they're going to be tips that I'm using in game. Number 5, the Asuka Ruby token reward is currently the most broken card in the game. If you pair that with a Regal manager or a manager to enhance her submissions, this equals easy wins. This card is insane. You get it from the Ruby token market reward packs. Well, I guess choosing the card. It's the first card I chose when I got to unlocking rubies. which you can do simply by going up the Faction Wars towers. You get to a certain amount of wins in Faction Wars, and you actually cannot get any more of those little tokens. You have to play your dailies and proving grounds. That's understandable because you could just farm until you got to diamond. That maybe wouldn't be as fair. But you can get to ruby and get a few ruby cards. I nabbed up that Asuka card, and I have been abusing it. It is so strong. Her stats are ridiculous. Her submission is ridiculous. And if you pair that with a manager, like a certain William Regal card, or I'm using a Ric Flair card, it gives her another +10 or a +9 to her submission already. Putting it at 90, making it a very, very easy step for you to just walk in, hit a few moves to someone's head, lock in the Asuka lock, and then it's 1, 2, 3, game over. Or in this case, button mash, square, triangle, circle, and they can't kick out. Step number 6 is relating to step number 5, which is once all step 5 is in place, you can literally walk into the ring as the match starts and make someone tap out immediately. Now, a friend of mine, Mr. Bullfrog, was over on his Twitch. He walked in as Asuka. He grabbed Rhea with an R2 in circle, which locks in a technical submission, and he stretched out her abdomen, and she tapped in about 6 seconds. No damage done. He just button mashed, pre-jacked the right button. And when I say pre-jack, I know that sounds interesting. Pre-jack to me is you will lock in a button. You already have a button in your mind before the submission shows up. So sometimes I'll be like, this is square, I'm manifesting square, and then triangle will show up and I'm caught off guard. But sometimes it works the right way, and in this case it did. He locked in an abdominal stretch. He was also pressing triangle at the time. It was triangle the button, and it went and she tapped within 6 seconds because of the technical submission on Asuka with the Regal manager he had also placed on her. That is 6 seconds. That's quicker than any DQ method or any method that I was using with Becky Lynch. That may be the quickest method, so please check out his channel, and he's got a video on it if you want to understand more of that. Now, step 7 is if you find step 5 and 6 don't work as successfully as they should, you chuck an all technical submission side plant enhancer on Asuka and you benefit. Now, you have 3 side plate slots for this Ruby Asuka, which is just behind my head here. 3 slots. You can put on side plates that enhance her submission, her technical submission, which is going to make the Asuka lock stronger. However, if her technical submissions are already at 90, if you put on 2 side plates that give it +5, it's at 100. That's the highest it can get. You won't lose at all. It's impossible. You can literally just hit a couple moves, lock in a signature, and then her Asuka lock, and you will not lose. You can even try that method of walking in, just pressing R2 in circle and hoping that that works. Try these things. Let me know how they work for you. This is the all-important tip that I'm going to give you. This is the very, very last tip, and it's the most important one. This technically will not be step 8. I'm only going to do 7 in this video because lucky 7, but I will throw this information at the end, and it is the most important of the information, so I put it at the end, clearly because I'm an asshole. The Space Invader badge is what makes submissions so overpowered. Any card can do this if it has this badge. It just has to be at a purple or higher level. Natalya has it in the Ruby token rewards. Charlotte has base level, well, base slight upgrade level. Becky has a few cards with it. The only one I've seen with purple at the moment this easy to obtain is Asuka. Until you get to Diamond Bret Hart, who has gold Space Invader, which is the enhanced submissions, I think Asuka's the way to go. When you get that Diamond Bret Hart by obviously getting the Diamond rewards, well, then I think that might be the most OP card in the game, and I'll revisit this video and do one on Bret Hart. But for the time being, this Asuka card is unbeatable. It seems to be the lock-in. I'd recommend getting to the Ruby token rewards, unlocking this card, and then doing your next 200 to 300 wins on Faction Wars with this card. Let me know if you guys are loving my faction. Hopefully these tips have helped you. I will do more of these videos, so if you like it, hit that like button. Comment down below where you're at on the Faction Wars tower. Are you already at 500 wins? Are you at 100 wins? Where are you guys at? Let me know. Do you have a strat that works too? If you've got a strat that works for you, I'd love to hear it down below. I might shout out the next few in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Daily uploads here, whether it's YouTube shorts or actual 2K22 videos, or some super cards, so make sure you hit that sub button. We're on the road to 10K. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.